the way that the guys just put in the shit.
Hey, what's it like in Brazil right now? Is it warm? Yeah. It's always hot, huh? Yeah.
You really suck.
This sucks more than anything that I've ever sucked before.
You getting that ass, Larry? Know what I mean? You getting that ass, Larry. That's what the fuck you do.
We are enjoying a lot about this time here in...
Why are you holding up a card to indicate a penalty? Like, there's so many different things you can do and you decide to hold up a card? That's insane to me.
Oh no, I'm stuck. Step bro, come help me.
Where is the vagina? It's a trick question because you can't see it here. You need to part the labia first.
Don't necessarily have to part the labia if the legs are spread pretty wide.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And by the way, the kid that's like, I can't believe these cards, why don't they throw a yellow flag? He says that earlier, which isn't it. He looks
why is throwing a flag better than showing a card?
He looks like Brendan Aronson's younger brother. If he had another one, right?
I've done that before the show, Derek.
Because he doesn't. Well, I'm just telling you, Jenny Cush and I hang out tonight. So I figured there's not a lot going on. So I'm just going to, enjoy myself as much as I possibly can tonight. And Jenny's always been kind. So I can't hear you. Oh, you've got visitors. Brett, visitors.
So I was doing something before bedtime and decides to open up the door and go, Dad. I'm just like, dude, are you serious?
You know the rules on Mondays, motherfucker.
And Thursdays. Fuck off.
So anyhow, welcome to the Straight Red Card. We got so much to talk about tonight.
Weinstein wants to know what position does Haji play again? Well, this weekend he played as a center forward.
Yes, he did. And he played well. He had a great game. Really great game. Sorry as I cough. I'll get over it. It's been a while. By the way, can TAC please quit calling Plymouth Argyle? Plymouth?
You noticed that too, huh?
TAC.
He's like,
come on, man. There's the fucking Pilgrims landed on
Plymouth Rock, of course.
Plymouth Rock. No, Plymouth Rock. Yeah, of course. Plymouth Rock. Come on, man.
I mean, that's not even German or French. I mean, that's straight up English. You should be able to say Plymouth.
Well, we got Plymouth, a car company here in this in this country. I believe they still exist. Doesn't Plymouth still exist? If they don't,
by GM.
But I mean, Plymouth. All right, I'm texting Tact after this show, and I'm going to help him out because it's the second time I've heard him say Plymouth.
You should create a video where you just say the names of teams, and then you can send it to them.
Today
we're going to go over the English second division.
I could compile a bunch of their videos. Not that we don't fuck up on occasion. We certainly do here.
It's expected with me, Derek.
It's
expected of me.
I mean, even I've made a mistake or two over the last couple of years.
Yeah, the Mackenzie McKinney thing. Oh,
well, that's not
brutal, boy.
That's just a mental error. It has nothing to do with representing how something's pronounced.
You are pronouncing the names correctly. You're just giving them the wrong name.
Well, I'm glad we got over the whole Norwich thing, as I clearly pointed out the original way that Norwich was pronounced when
that's the difference between you and the situation. You went into this whole detailed explanation as far as why we said it one way and why we may have said it way in particular, just to say it that way. Whereas I don't give a fuck.
Well, I don't really give a fuck either. No point either way. Okay. Let's see here. So I had a student claim he was pansexual today. And then I said, so what does that mean? He says, well, like, I'm okay hooking up with a trans as long as I don't know they're a trans. And I'm like, wait a minute. As long as you don't know, like, I don't notice the difference. How are you not going to notice the difference? I mean, if I get them from behind, I'm like, get them from behind. I'm like, so you never see the dangler? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said, then you're really not pansexual because you're basically thinking you're having sex with a girl.
Well,
said,
no. He said
point.
trans. He didn't. Did he specify which trans
Yes.
direction? It could be trans across the board. Maybe he thinks he's having sex with a girl. Maybe he thinks he's having sex with a guy. It happens to be flip flop one way or another.
No. He's very clearly wants the trans to look like a woman.
This is the equivalent of that one rugby trans woman that we covered a long shows ago, where so do you like guys? Oh no, I dig chicks.
Oh no. He was just confused about what pansexualism was. The word pan, by the way, means all. So, I think that's
labyrinth is all's labyrinth.
That's tough, right? All, I don't know what all's a big word. All sexual. Anyhow, Johnny wants us to move on. Hey, Johnny. How you doing, buddy? Okay. We're not going to move on. By the way,
He's player, our number one fan of Chandler. And Chandler got some minutes this week. We'll go over that in a little while, but
I'm sure Johnny had the lube out. Johnny had the lube out. Larry had the lube out. They were stroking it together, both of them. Just long strokes, too. Oh, yeah. Timmy Chandler got 30 minutes. Oh, my God. Clear out. I'm coming. Look out. All right. For all 69 of you, which is perfect timing, who are in here now, make sure you like, subscribe, share with your grandma. By the way, IU football, suck our balls. We're good. IU football's really good. I think we.
I know. What are we, like 8-0 now? How the hell is this happening?
Something like that. Yeah, and we're going to be, according to the rankings, I believe we're going to be number 8 in the country coming up, which easily puts us in the playoffs.
We still play the Buckeyes, don't we? I think
we'll beat them. We'll beat them too.
Right. Fuck you, Ohio.
I mean, we killed Michigan. We killed Michigan State.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to kill them all. Our team is so badass.
What is this? This is like hell's freezing over or something.
It is. I mean,
this is insane.
We crushed Michigan State this weekend 47-10. We scored 47 unanswered points in a row. So anyhow,
usually for IU fans, the score line's usually reversed in that front.
Yeah.
It's like usually it's like 14-10 going into the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden they score like 30 unanswered points.
Yeah. So you know how curious I am. Remember I was curious?
Just like Pan, right?
Curious about the foodist. Remember that? And then there's all those I think the site's called 34, but I'm not sure. Anyhow, just poking around during the weekend, was looking at, and I noticed that a lot of the cartoons or the whatever artwork with this particular group of people out there right now are women with enormously, ridiculously sized boobs. And it's okay, that's fine. But do they all have to have enormously gigantic, ridiculous sized, not normal sized boobs? Like, is everybody into that? Like, everybody wants gigantic, enormous boobs.
If you're going to draw naked characters or whatever, Rule 34 is that what you're talking about?
Yes, thank you. Rule 34.
So yeah, if you're going to draw animated characters in questionable positions, of course you're going to give them gigantic boobs.
No, you don't have to. Not everybody looks like that.
You do.
No,
sure,
but
it's all cartoon animated.
I'm not attracted to that.
Well, and I'm guessing it's not your bag, baby.
I'm guessing there are a lot of guys who are into thin women, thinner women, not big asses and big boobs and gigantic boom, bam, boom everywhere. Some guys like thin women, like my Lori. Oh, almost said her last name. Anyhow, the girl before my wife. Anyhow, that's you can't just say that all men like the boom, bap, boom. Some men like thin and skinny, and not skinny, but like healthy looking. Not with these ginormous butts and these
tits
that are just ridiculous.
First off, I don't even know how you got onto Rule 34 to begin with. This is not something that a man of your age just happens to come across, first of all. And second of all, it's meant to be the exaggerated. It absolutely is. It's all exaggerated, cartoony porn drawings.
It's stupid.
Sure, I don't disagree.
It's all the same. It's just like all the same. It's just so ridiculous. It's like, is anybody going to be creative here? Like, tell a good story or do something weird.
Every cartoon dude has a 46-foot cock. It's unrealistic all around.
So do the Fudas.
Fair enough.
Now you know why I'm at 34. Rule 34.
When you mentioned 34, I was really sitting there remembering, like, shit, what the fuck is that site called now?
I'm trying to remember how I ended up
By the way, guys, if you're not familiar with Rule 34, I think it's Rule 34. Don't venture there while on a work PC.
No, do not go there during work. Do not. I don't think there's anything illegal on it. It's just
it's stuff you shouldn't be looking at on work.
It's graphic
that way. Oh, it's very graphic.
Yeah, very graphic.
Yeah.
Like cartoon chicks effing horses and all kinds of weird shit. Like you're like, that's kind of weird. But okay, people are into that. I'm just a curious guy, Brett. That's why I investigate.
We don't know that Derek Googled horse cock. That's how he came across that very specific women with horses.
No way you Google horse cock, Brett. There's just no way you don't do that. If you're going to do it, you got to get more specific than that. What is going
horse cock?
Something more like that. Woman sucks horse cock or something like that. But you don't just put in horse cock. Then you'll just get a bunch of pictures of horse cocks. And who's into that? Anyhow, nobody, actually. All right. Well, that's probably not true. There are probably people with that sort of freaky thing too, right? Where they're into horse cock.
You know who is into horse cock, right? This magician here. Watch. Yep, there you go. Just gonna put these balls in your hand. You're gonna give a good shake. Good shake. Then release.
That's pretty good. I like that.
You give it a good shake and
that's pretty good. I'd like one of those. I'd like to play that trick on somebody, but yeah, I don't know who I'd do it to. All right.
Don't do it at work.
Yeah, I'll get fired. I'll do it to my boss. How's that?
Oh man. Yeah, that'll go.
I'll do it to the principal.
Do it to the music teacher, whoever knows our show. He's probably watching it right now.
Yeah, Brent's pro. He handle that.
Dude, I watched the show. I know exactly what you're trying to do. Oh, look, cock in the hand.
Yeah. Cock in the hand. It's kind of normal. Garrick, do you know what lollies are? Lollies, maybe is what he's talking about. Lollies?
Yeah.
I don't know what a lolly is.
It's a very child depicted sexualized person.
Isn't that every Japanese anime? Even if they have gigantic boobs, they all look like they're like 13. Even if they got like no 13-year-old has.
They're not ashamed of that, Derek, either. So you won't be able to shame them on that. But yeah,
no 13-year-old has boobs as big as some of these anime things have. It's unnatural. It doesn't make sense. But okay, I know it's fantasy, right? It's fantasy.
Judgmental Deity says, no, it's true. I mean, Attack on Titan, they weren't 13. I mean, they were probably 13 at one point, but they grew up.
Okay, well, I don't know enough about it yet, so I'm still I haven't seen any of those weird things, the lowly things.
Jack Pineda's got it down pat.
With the protection of saying they are 300 years old. Okay. Because they're not real, so they can make them whatever age they want, right? All characters depicted in this video are over the age of 37. And then they all look like they all look like they're 12. I haven't seen anything like that yet, but I wasn't on there that long. I just explored for about, I don't know, a few hours.
A few hours to Rule 34. Oof.
I just want.
I don't even want to know what. I don't even know what type of viruses your computer just picked up.
None, actually.
Sure.
I have good virus control. All right, just like my penis does. All right. Anyhow, let's see. Oh, by the way, the UK is actually turning into an Orwellian nightmare. So if you live in the UK,
we're sorry.
Good luck. Good luck.
Be careful what you post on the socials.
I thought I saw a number that 2,783 people have been arrested for their posts on
Well, I mean, in New York, the cops are coming into your house and murdering your prized pets.
They are?
You haven't heard about the squirrel yet? The squirrel, the guy in New York that has the pet squirrel and pet raccoon.
I saw a bunch of squirrel
Peanuts?
stuff.
Yeah, Peanut the squirrel.
What happened to him?
Well, some apparently some social media influencer complained to New York's officials that this fucking squirrel has more followers than she does, and it's illegal to have a squirrel in New York apparently as a pet.
Is that guy that had the pet squirrel?
Yeah.
Oh, they killed that squirrel?
They killed the squirrel, yeah.
That cool squirrel that used to jump all over him while he worked out?
Got the cowboy hat and everything on, yeah.
Oh,
Peanut's
man.
no longer with us.
That's disgusting. What a bunch of idiots. Well, that's why all the Amish are voting for Trump, because the Democrats made it and the current administration made it their thing to make sure they weren't allowed to smoke meats the way they like to. Like, okay, they don't use cure, right?
Yeah.
And they don't make it the same way we do. They make it the old-fashioned German Dutch way, meats, and they've been told they're no longer allowed to do that. And then they got monitored for a bunch of other things and super regulated. So there I saw the video of a bunch of Amish wagons going down a Pennsylvania road with Trump flags on them. Well, you know what? You fuck with people, they turn on you.
I think they're blaring on their stereos the Trump song of they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
They want to eat their shinken the way it was made back in 1882. Leave them alone. Yeah. All right.
I don't see Amish people dying with diabetes or any of these other diseases that the rest of us are getting, because they're not pure.
No,
their food is pure.
Well, their food is natural as it gets. They're also regulating the milk from the cows, and they're forcing them to pasteurize the milk or something like that. I don't know all the details.
The country have been great regulating food, 100%.
Oh yeah, we're fantastic at that. By the way, all the 110 of you here already, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with Grandma. We do appreciate it. We're here to have a good time, and that's what we're going to do. This is the night before the election. All hell could break loose after tomorrow. We don't know. I hope not. I really hope not. Regardless of how it goes, I hope hell doesn't break loose. But
Kumar wants to send out prayers and say that Peanut is currently in heaven with Harambe.
Okay.
R.I.P. Harambe.
That's good.
One of the first years I was working at my school, back 2016 or whatever, came across one of the books that they used to have in the classrooms. Now that's all digitalized, of course. But they used to have the classroom books, you open up and it'd be like a literature book and you'd read a story or whatever. But it stays in the class; it doesn't go home with you.
Right.
And in the front, they have you put your name as far as what year. Usually you put your name on there, and that way they know whose book is whose type of thing.
Sure.
Going through there, and it was somebody had written Harambe on it, and then it was nonstop, just R.I.P. R.I.P. Just stuff like that, and it made me chuckle.
Is this
I guess
one of the lions in the Lion King?
Harambe? No, he's the gorilla who the kid fell into the gorilla.
Yeah.
He was trying to protect him, but it ended up mauling this little kid. I guess. I mean, I can't remember. It's been a long time.
I didn't think he mauled the kid.
I thought he pulled him aside and was I don't know.
I didn't think he killed the kid. Didn't think.
Well, then they shouldn't have put him down.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Now I'm getting angry.
All right. What else you got?
Well, we're already in the politics talk, so let's stay there.
Really? Do we really? I think I've said enough.
Yeah, no, we're here.
John F. Kennedy. My wife is making me do this stupid parade. Someone kill me now, please. Oh, that's horrible.
Born to Die World is saying, is this real? And that guy below him goes, yeah, you can tell the tweet is from the 60s because of its aging.
Jesus Christ. Are people that stupid? Anyhow, yeah, I mean, so Kennedy was probably killed. We know that Richard Nixon had no fans in the elite, and certainly not the establishment or the military industrial complex. In fact, if Eisenhower would have stuck around, and he warned us about this, yeah, he probably would have been rid of too somehow. But they got rid of Nixon. Anyhow, yeah, I mean, the whole Watergate thing is kind of an interesting story, but Anyhow, he was not a fan of the, even though he was one of the most popularly elected presidents of all time, Richard Nixon's second time. I'm not a fan of Nixon or anything like that. But yeah, anyhow, Alexi Lyle says many people will be happy, many will be sad, losses will be filed, hyperbole will fly, America will survive. I will be awesome. Predictions on tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's what the question was.
Chris Gary says that if the person I don't like wins, our country will be destroyed, and if the person I like wins, our country will be saved.
That's another way of looking at it.
I wrote, "We're all ruined because nobody voted for me."
You didn't run, dummy.
Well, no. Chris Gary said he wrote me and you in, and he's hoping that we bring the turd as the press secretary.
Done deal.
And I said, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't imagine a better hype man. Of course, we'll have to make sure we add some stadium rock tracks to his introductions.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think, if you believe what Chris Gary believes, but I think that people on the other side of what Chris Gary believes also think that, right?
Well, no, that's what he's saying. He's saying everybody has that same opinion. Like, well, if my guy doesn't win, the democracy's lost forever. And if my guy does win, it's saved. And they can be flip-flop between whoever's saying it.
I will tell you this. If the Democrats lose, they're going to have to rethink everything. They already need to be rethinking everything because they are not the party that I've been a part of for so many years and left and became an independent. They need to take a very deep look in the mirror because there is no way in hell this should even be close. It's close because they suck and they majorly suck and they suck so hard that it's given a guy who's a TV show, reality show guy, a second chance at winning because they suck that bad. That's how bad the Democratic Party has become. They don't even elect the leaders anymore, And look what they did to Bernie. Look at what they did to Bernie.
In fairness, they did. Biden was elected, and he was practically comatose at the time, and now the option is going to be Kamala. So
Kamala was not elected as president to run for president.
So
anyhow,
it's a weird time that we're living in.
I used to say this about the Republican Party about how bad they suck, and they still do suck. The party itself. Like the Bushes and the Cheneys and the Lindsey Grahams, all those fuckers suck too. They suck ass. But anyhow, now it's like the Democrats are like trying to suck just as hard as the Cheneys and the Bushes but actually they're friends with those guys now. That's the scary thing. The Democrats are like friendly with the Bushes. They really like Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney. And
everybody just has to follow the money. Follow the money.
What the fuck is going on? Even Jon Stewart's like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I don't want those guys associated with, and maybe he'll figure it out too. But I know as a deep insider, and he probably knows too, maybe he's not a deep insider of the Democratic Party as deep as I was, but things have been going wrong for a long time, and they've gotten, since I'm not part of We anymore, to a place where they need to reevaluate their soul, their actual SOUL soul. Otherwise, they're going to keep losing to people they shouldn't be losing to because they have real ideas and real concepts and real things they want to get done that are, working class ideas. But anyhow, I've said enough, Brett. Sorry.
Derek, I know you mentioned this last show and everything, like how your phone's been going off the hook from.
It went off during.
Text.
It's already gone off twice during the show. From the Democratic Party.
I got one. I wrote back and said, "How the fuck did you get this number?"
From the Democratic Party?
Yeah.
Really? I know why I'm getting them.
I've never aligned registered for either side for anything, so I'm not sure how. I know how they got my number, of course. I'm second guessing how a governmental entity has obtained my number. It's not that hard.
Yeah. All right. So anyhow, we'll get off this politics so you guys don't eat each other like rats inside the chat. We don't want you getting all divided about this. Let's just say we're going to get through this together regardless of what happens. And hopefully there's no violence.
None of what we said politically has anything to do with Indiana politics.
Yeah, we have
outside of IU football, who happens to be winning. I'm not sure how that works out, but
go Indiana, baby.
That's kind of political, right?
Well, kind of, maybe.
I don't know.
Anyhow. So anyhow, yeah, fuck the Cheneys. And that's the last thing I'm going to say. All right. I hate the Cheneys. Always have. Long time.
You know what I hate, Derek?
Who do you hate?
I hate injuries.
Me too.
I'm so fed up with these injuries.
Me too.
Oh my
But
God.
I'm mostly fed up with them to Josh Sargent.
Hey, you know what? Here's a question. He's going to be gone for 8 weeks. He has to get surgery. Maybe they can do surgery on his ankle too. How many more weeks is that?
I think that the ankle isn't surgically an option.
Okay, well, I guess he's going to have 8 weeks to recover. On his ankle at least. Just spend some time on the bike, I guess. Keep your cardio going.
Yeah, well,
come back.
It's frustrating. It's not his fault. Obviously, injuries isn't something he wants. He would like to make the roster, but
it's just, I mean,
it's getting
every
boring.
Single fucking player is popping up, and it's like, they're injured. They're injured. I'm just like, oh my God.
It's got Balogun and Sargent now.
I mean, it's like once we here you go. Once we started shipping our players off to Europe, they started getting injured. When we were predominantly a domestic team, our players never got injured.
Oh, well, so just have all of them playing MLS?
All playing MLS. I mean, that's what Charlie Davies wants anyways. Well, not all, but for Josh at least.
I saw Bandit says Sargent sucks, but Bandit, honestly, if you've been watching Norwich, you just can't say that. It's factually incorrect, but he is injury prone. Yeah, he is injury prone.
Not gonna. I don't want to jump back into the whole Sargent and U.S. national team debate. We've covered that plenty.
Yeah,
enough to So
it's I'm not signing his death knell anytime soon. He'll be back.
The kid's 24 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. I only bring this up because I'm going to bring up Jimmy Conrad's show where they talk about this, and Charlie goes, yeah, maybe after this year, because he's talking about how he's found his ceiling at Norwich. And he's not saying that that's as high as he's going to get at quality level, but at Norwich, that's as high as he's going to get, and he needs to do something different. And then he talks about how maybe this is the time where he needs to come to MLS. I'm like, wait a second, that's not an
who said that?
Charlie. We'll get Charlie Davies. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Charlie!
I got it pulled up.
What the fuck? Why would he come to MLS? For what reason? There were teams bidding to buy him in the Premier League last season. Norwich just made it impossible. The price impossible.
Sitting upstairs making a beef stroganoff for the kids, and I'm listening to this.
Who's stroganoff?
Beef. No, that's wrong. No. I can't make that joke, Derek. Come on, dude.
Oh, you're making it for the kids.
I mean, come on.
My bad. I didn't hear that part.
Like, bro, what? I almost jumped right into the joke. I was like, wait. No, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's the kids.
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you?
Oh my God, beef stroganoff is great stuff. All right, if you know how to make it correctly. I do think the name's funny. You like the stroganoff? I love a stroganoff.
It's the beef stroganoff, yeah.
Not the meal, you idiot.
It just happens to be a white creamy noodle with beef in it.
With beef in it and mushrooms. Got to get the mushrooms in there.
My kids would never eat mushrooms right now, so
they're
in typical kid mode.
Make them for yourself.
There you go. All right, so I got 2 kind of timestamps in this video. It's only an 8-minute video, so we're going to start here.
Okay.
Now is he going to move to MLS after this?
No, he's not, Charlie.
He's reached his max potential at the club.
Oh, and so now he needs a bigger challenge in MLS, right? Because he's met the max challenge there, and the I'm sorry, the
Yeah.
championship, the EFL. And so he's got to take a big step up to MLS, a big step up, right? Is that what you're saying, Charlie? Because it ain't a big step up.
Well,
Fuck
yeah, he explains it here in a bit, but
okay, he better get better fast because I'm already pissed.
He does expand later as far as where he'd like him to stay in Europe and stuff like that. But it's weird that this was the first go-to was like, well, you know, he's already met a ceiling at Norwich in the championship. I mean, he's not going to move around the championship because why would they do that? And he's not going to get any better there. So why not try him less? It's like, wait, what? How did we jump from A
How
to
did
B
we
there?
go
How
there?
did that happen?
What are you, fucking Landon Donovan all of a sudden?
It is funny because there's something. It's like a 50-50 with Charlie. We're sitting there like half the time it's like, you know, Charlie made a really good point here, blah 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 blah, and then other times we're like, what the fuck?
And 10 minutes later, you're like, what the fuck is he talking about?
All right, let's see how he expands upon this.
And where does he go from here? I think that's the big question.
Boy, at 24, right? I find it hard to write him off.
Tony does jump in
like a move to MLS in your context is a step down, right?
It is.
Is a guy conceding that he doesn't make it in Europe and he's got to come back to MLS.
Thank you,
We've seen
Tony.
that pathway for players before.
Good job, judgmental
I tend
deity.
to think and I tend to hope that Josh Sargent stays in Europe and continues to kind of hone his skill as a number 9.
That is growing.
So, Tony takes it to Charlie in the sense that he says, "Hey, let's say he met his ceiling at Norwich, and maybe you're saying that, you know, he hasn't quite. This is where his ceiling is because Tony figures out what Charlie's saying like at the very end of this segment here, but he's like, why not? Why doesn't he just stay where he's at now?
Yes,
continue to improve and continue to develop. Maybe it's a ceiling, maybe it's not, but it's better than say going back to MLS at this point. He's 24 years old, guys.
Why just throw a fucking dart against the board and go, well, maybe I'll go play in St. Louis in MLS. Fuck that. Like, I'm even frustrated that Charlie even brought it up.
Well, it'd be one thing if Charlie defended by saying, because he goes, personal growth is what he says. That's the reason. I'm not going to dive in because I'm not sure how much further into this it is. But he talks about it's personal growth. It's growing as a player, you know. But I would have respected his opinion more on this front instead of saying personal growth. I would have respected if he said, it's for the money. Josh should come to MLS because he's never going to get as big of a paycheck as he is at St. Louis or Cincinnati.
Probably not, but I had some pretty big offers at the end of last season that Norwich made absolutely impossible to happen by, you know, putting his ceiling, his ask so high that nobody else in the Premier League could afford him. But, you know, listen, yeah, I mean, Sargent's fine. Just leave him where he is. Let him do his thing. Well, it's like they're out of topics to talk about. That's what this is. And now we're latching onto it, making it worse.
Exactly. No. Well, he's never going to make more money in Europe than he will at MLS. If he came to MLS now, whether definitely at St. Louis, I think St. Louis would love to pounce on that any minute. He would make bucket loads more than what he's going to make anywhere in Europe. Of course, he's going to get a high-paid transfer fee before too long, one way or another, whether it's to an EPL side, which is where the interest was, or if it's, I would love for him to go back to Germany. And they talk about league as an example as well.
Yeah, whatever. Judgmental deity France is fine. I don't agree with everything they say, but they have interesting perspectives, to be honest. I want to be really clear here. We love Tony Miola. He's been on our show.
Mm-hmm.
We love and have known Jimmy Conrad for over a decade, and we love Jimmy. The only person on this screen that hasn't been on our show is Charlie Davies.
I need to reach out to Charlie. I'd like to get Charlie on the show.
You should.
There'd be some interesting back and forths because I feel like Charlie doesn't hold back on his opinion.
Yes.
Whereas sometimes we get people on here and they're just like, "Well, this is what I think." We both can be right. Why not? But I think Charlie would actually defend his point and stick with it, whereas we may push back and forth. I think it'd be an interesting show.
No, I think that the great thing about Charlie is what you get from Charlie is you get some really good insight that's off, outside of thinking, normal thinking, and then you get some crazy ones, right? So you get both. because he's thinking outside the bubble, not all the time, but enough times that you get some wacky ones, you get some great ones. So he's also a good guy from everything I've heard from people.
I have no reason to expect otherwise.
Yep. So we'll try to get Charlie on here. As I said, I'll be going on Max Bretta's show soon, even though Colin Reese tried to disturb the force.
Again, though? Or is that old?
Oh, no. He I think he tweeted something to Max about me criticizing him and saying he was compromised because he works for the MLS. Well, he didn't actually provide that context. Colin didn't. And then Brettos was like, I hope not. And then I wrote, and I explained it. I said, you work for MLS. There's only so far you can go criticizing the MLS. That means you're compromised. And when I worked for big organizations like I did in the past, and I could not criticize the leadership of that organization publicly. And that's just how it goes. And if you don't want to call that compromise, then fine. Max and I are fine. I mean, we talked about it off of.
I have no expectation otherwise.
We were texting, so you know, it's just. But online, that's what I said.
There has to be a distinction between compromised and shill. We're not calling Max a shill.
No,
we actually don't call. We don't. I don't know if there's.
We don't really refer to that.
Actually used the term shill at all.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, I mean, whether you're a full-fledged employee of MLS or you work part-time and doing broadcast or whatever for MLS, I mean, there's only so far you can go to say something negative about the organization that pays you.
You know, I think that Max has criticized MLS. It's been gentle, but he has done it when he thinks it makes sense. But people are asking, well, he's a shill. He doesn't ever hit him. Go after Don Garber. Don Garber's his fucking boss. He's not going after Don Garber.
Well, as we've talked about multiple times too, Don Garber is a puppet.
Right.
He's a puppet for all the owners. He does. I mean, he's there to make the owners happy in the end.
And you know what? We can criticize Don Garber, and we have on this show for various things, especially you know, the cup stuff. But he can't do that. So yes, is he compromised? I mean, he is.
He could say, "Oh man, I really enjoyed the days when MLS had all their teams in the U.S. Open Cup."
Right, that's as far as he's going to go. Right,
you're not going to say Don Gobbler. You know, he's not going to say stuff like we'll say.
Right.
And, you know, we'll probably never have Don on the show by any means. I mean, we might reach out at some point and someday, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. But
yeah. Fumar says Miola is at peace. You can tell he is. He's just one of those guys who's found his spot, and he's really comfortable with himself.
Does some broadcasting, does some podcasting. It's the life at this point.
He's in a good conscious space, and that's what I really like about Tony Miola, especially even when we had him on our show back in the day. I mean, he was just great. I mean, obviously, Jimmy's more of a clown or a prankster and a clown.
He's like us,
but
a little more serious version of us, I'll say.
But yeah, even when he comes on our show, he's like, "You guys are kind of clowns." I can't even go there.
I mean, that's fair. So, that's fair to say. And we're here for the last to entertain the peoples.
I think it's Jimmy's needs to come on here a third time.
Since we restarted a third time, yeah. He needs to. It's been many a year since I think Jimmy's been on the show.
Yeah. So we need to have him back on, and then Charlie is our first priority right now. But I'll let you know when I'm on Max, because guess what? When I go on Max's show, we disagree on stuff, and he's totally cool with it. And when he comes on our show, we disagree on stuff, and he's totally cool with it. So Colin can try to disrupt that, you know, positive vibe we have together all he wants, but Max ain't buying it. So keep trying. All right. Or don't keep trying, and, you know, find something else to do with your time. What else?
Well,
you got,
it's
Brett?
funny because I had a decent, a nice little interaction with Colin before. Chris Gary had responded to the BBC when they were talking about Job Bellingham.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Chris Gary made the comment, you know, I don't care for Job. or something like that. It's apparently it's
a joke.
It's a reference to a TV show, Arrested Development, I think it was.
Okay.
And somebody says he doesn't care what you think, you bald fuck, or something like that. It's something along those lines. Because Chris Carey has an avatar on Twitter of Jason Alexander from Seinfeld. You know, he's bald.
And so even though Colin's upset people call him fat, he's going to call him bald?
No. This is a different guy that said this.
Oh, okay.
Some UK dude or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And I respond to go, first off, congratulations on having a connection with Job as far as being able to talk for him. Second off, hey Chris, Gary, what is Jerry Seinfeld like in real life?
Yeah,
and then
right.
Colin had said, hey, why do people think calling people bald is an insult? I go, yeah, I know. I don't hide the fact that I'm bald. I wear hats and stuff like that, but I mean, I keep my hair pretty fucking close, guys. I don't care. I mean, it's a lifelong thing. I knew it was coming decades before I lost my hair, and after I lost my hair, whatever.
Yep, exactly. It's Mother Nature. Max Bretos, says Daniel, was a stud in college. That dude had a body count of legends. I do not doubt that. If you knew Max or knew of him like 15 years ago, right? When we first knew him, was he a model? Yeah, that dude was a fucking model. Yes, he was a good looking dude. And I am sure his body count is quite high. I'm sure it is, even though that's not really something to brag about because your dick could fall off. So got to be careful about that. Lamar Reynolds for $5. Would you go on to CB's if they ask you to tune it down?
Tone it down.
CBS if they ask you to tune it down.
To jump on the Jimmy show, basically. Jimmy said, hey, can you come on if you just keep the rhetoric down?
Okay, here. I have been over the years on multiple radio shows where cursing's not allowed. I've been on multiple shows with other people, including Max Bretos' show twice. I mean, I know how to tone it down. I know how to not swear or talk about jizz flying across the ceiling. So, yes, can I do it? Absolutely, I can.
I'll say, for the first couple of years that you and I had been on Pete and Tack show, we kept it pretty clean. And it wasn't until relatively recently when I mean, for me at least, I was on the show with it was me, Pete, and I'm sure you were on the show too. And somebody had said something about getting a load off.
Yes.
And I'm just like, I'm gonna let that one go, guys. And, right. I didn't say anything. And then after the show, I'm like, man, I really wanted to make that joke. He goes, dude, just make the joke next time. I'm like, okay, now, it's fair game now.
Now, Brett, people can go back. It's all on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah.
And you can watch all our old interviews with all the people we did interviews with. John O'Brien, Jimmy Conrad back then. Help me out here. The bold.
I mean, just name a prominent person in soccer. We had him on the show.
Yeah,
especially Olive Fox. We had Olive Fox on our show.
I just forgot the journalist who died.
Grant Wall.
I mean, we had everybody on that show, but we didn't.
Archer, Dan Loney. I mean,
we didn't curse. We didn't do that because, well, Big Soccer didn't want us to, so we couldn't. Yeah. But now we have our own show. We'll do whatever the fuck we want. All right.
Mar says it was like a year out before I found out you were bold, Brett.
I don't think that's really that big of a deal.
It's not. No. It's funny. It's just funny when you people look up to their heroes, and then they find some glaring instance of something that's not perfection about them. It just throws them for a loop sometimes.
Okay. All righty. You can frame it that way.
My wife goes, if I had just like a tenth of your confidence, I wouldn't be with you.
All right. On that note, for the 169 of you here tonight, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. We do appreciate you tuning on a Monday night right before the election and with Monday Night Football raging as we speak. All right, what else we got? Surely this is it for this.
This is this last bit here.
All right.
Stuff.
Where would it be? Because if we're saying this is his level, then I know you had mentioned one time, I think you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, like Ligue 1, somewhere in Ligue 1.
I said Bundesliga or Liga.
Bundesliga would be great.
First off, they're saying it wrong. It's League.
Not Liga. It's right.
Yeah.
Or
like,
going to
Europa League type team.
Yeah, going to a top team that's in the Europa League that's competing.
So now this is one thing I wanted to talk about. They're mentioning, because he's gonna branch off into how where we want our players is playing in European competitions. But I guess it really depends on where we're talking about with European competitions. Because if we're talking about playing for Club Brugge, or hell, I'm going to throw in PSV to this then, because I mean, nothing against PSV, and they can compete in the European competitions, but the rest of the league is suspect outside the first 4 or 5 teams. So is it better to play in a more competitive league week in, week out? Even if he goes to let's say he does go back to Bundesliga. I would like it if he did go back to Bundesliga, but I don't necessarily need him to go to a team that's competing for Europa all the time, or even Champions League. It'd be nice, but if he's playing on like Mönchengladbach, where he's going to play week in, week out within the Bundesliga, that'd be better than not necessarily playing every week in, week out for a Champions League or Europa team.
Be a better center forward for Union Berlin, who are currently in the top 10 in the Bundesliga, than PFOC is.
Yeah.
So, listen, that's going to be something Josh is going to have to work out on. Right now, Norwich have no intention of letting him go anytime soon, except for a lot of money. And they're going to keep signing him, and they're going to keep piling the money on.
As we talked about at the beginning of the season, they definitely turned down some bids.
Yep.
But aside from that, this is the last year of their golden parachute. So after this season, I know they have Sargent signed up through like 2028 or something like that. He just recently re-signed with them. But as of next season, if they do not get promoted, they're going to have to look to offload him.
Yeah, because
that's where they're going to make the money at.
They already let go a bunch of good players.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to let go even more after the
parachute. I think Sainz is gone too. I think he's gone at the end of the season.
Oh, for sure.
He is
gone. He is gone. Yes. They're not going to be able to afford him.
Their prayer and hope is that, when Sargent comes back, he starts scoring goals too, and they push up the into playoffs, and they make it into EPL next season. If they don't, both those players, I would wager, are gone.
Yep, I would say so too. All right, that's enough Sargent before we make Larry sick. Which Larry probably already left because it's like enough Josh Sargent talk. All right.
Well, this next segment's gonna lead into our main topic anyways. So we're gonna start off with a
do not panic, cap them now.
And then after this, it'll jump into Yanks Abroad, and we'll talk about our main topic here. This is gonna be a relatively short show, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hawkins, in his 10th match of the season back in October 18th for FC Emmen in the Eredivisie. Here are our stats from those matches: 10 appearances, 10 starts, 3 goals, 2 assists. He did play again this weekend.
He was basically starting and playing the entire match for every single game.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but Emmen is in the 2nd division in Holland.
And he's what, 23, 24 area?
Yeah.
I mean, cool, I guess.
I mean, it's cool for him. He's got a job. Yeah. He's making money. He's playing soccer. But this is nothing. And we're not saying Zach is saying this because I love Zach McCabe. But I don't think it's anything to whip out the loop about.
I dig the fact that Zach goes through and tracks, the stats here, and he's maybe doing, every 10 matches for players and stuff like that. It's not an every week thing or anything,
right?
But I mean, posting this, it's some good numbers and everything. But he is playing in the 2nd division of Holland, and
yeah,
he's almost 24 years old. I mean, at this point, cool.
I'll get into that. in the Yanks Abroad report, but I believe they played Utrecht's 2 team against Rick Van Hees, is another American who played the full 90 that game. They did. Rick Van Hees 90 minutes for Utrecht in the win. Hawkins 81 minutes and a goal. Maybe it was separate games then, and a win for Emmen. So okay, cool. I'm glad he's playing, but.
So, I know you got your Yanks Abroad and stuff like that. And I got 4 players pulled up for the main topic. Do we want to just go over those 4 players?
Yeah, and then we can do Yanks Abroad
in case I missed anybody in particular.
Right. Yeah. Let's do
All
it.
right. So with Sargent down, we're looking at striker, the number 9 as an option, and most likely with Haji probably getting pigeonholed out wide for the U.S. men's national team.
Probably
not necessarily considered as the 9 here. We got to look at PFOC coming in, but then who's going to come in with? Brandon Vasquez is a likely candidate.
Okay, but Brandon Vasquez doesn't play for Monterey hardly at all.
That's fair. I'm just saying he's likely candidate in the fact that he was in last window. So
he looked fine. He looked fine.
Yeah.
But not playing for Monterey, getting 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like not scoring either, by the way.
You got PFOC. You got Union Berlin, who's not necessarily excelling right now.
Yeah, I mean, really, you still have to bring in Vasquez at this point because there's just.
Well, the other option would be looking at somebody like a Damian Downs. I know he plays for 2 Bundesliga, but he's young. How old is he? He is what? 20 years old. He's playing in Bundesliga too. He's scoring goals. He's playing week in, week out.
Bring him in.
I mean, he is more or less a consistent starter outside of this last week, of course.
Third striker, probably not going to play much anyhow. Bring him in.
Yeah. So that's a viable option. He's a young duel.
Yeah. So I think he was just coming off a small injury, and that way, for that reason, he didn't start the game.
He had a cold.
Okay. Kern, right? FC Kern. All the way up. Go all the way up. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure I wasn't losing my mind because I'm getting confused. Anyhow, but yeah, I'd give him a try. Why not bring him in, bring Pepe in, and bring PFOC in, or Vasquez? I don't care.
Well, I mean, that's going to play. You're going to play Russian roulette with the other spots in at that point. I mean, you could bring in 3 strikers. You just have to make sure. It's possible you could bring in 3 strikers and say, well, Pepe could play out wide in the pinch.
So you're bringing 2 because you already know that, you've got somebody out wide who can play in the middle, right? With Haji.
Yeah.
So you only need 2. It'll be Pepe, and I don't think it's going to be PFOC. PFOC's got time. He's done very little for Union Berlin this season. It's probably going to be Vasquez just based on Poach's experience from the last window, would be my guess. Even though he's not playing for Monterey. I mean, he is, but not much.
I mean, unless Poach looks at Vasquez and says, hey, I've seen what he can bring to the equation. I want to look at some other faces and go from there. It just really depends on how deep they're diving into this and whether or not they're looking at the same pool that, say, Berhalter tried, or if they're going to start looking at some younger faces like a Damian Downs, like I'm saying. But, I mean, Damian, would Damian have to file a one-time switch or anything like that? I mean, I know he's played for the German U20 recently. Not recently, but his most current international.
He might, but I don't think there's any question that he'll ever play for the German national team, so just go ahead and do it. But I do think you have to ask, all right, who's Pepe's? Is Haji Wright really Pepe's backup? And the answer is yes, he is. And so
we're just you
could bring Downs just to get acclimated, but I doubt that's what's going to happen. I'm more in the mind based on what Poach experienced last time of him bringing Pepe and Vasquez, and of course Haji, who can do either position. So that's where we're probably going to be.
Let's stick in the Bundesliga because I think
Sargent, by the way, if you're in the chat, Sargent's injured. So it doesn't matter if you think that Sargent is less better or worse or better than Vasquez. Sargent's injured, he's not coming. Yep. And Balogun injured, not coming.
So as far as other players, other potentials and real deals and stuff like that, and he's kind of in the name of the title right now. But let's go ahead and take a look at Nathaniel Brown.
Listen, I know I've only watched 2 games, and I've watched both of them all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And Brett, you watched the game. Are you not impressed?
Yeah.
With Nathaniel fucking Brown?
Yeah, back to goal. I mean, I understand that it was a 7-2 slaughter, but
I don't care.
That game could have been in double digits. It could have been easily.
I mean, they were ahead so far. Chandler got to play.
Yeah, Chandler came in for Cock at center back.
Yeah,
and I don't think he played center back though.
No, he didn't.
So,
but hey, this kid's for real. If there is someone I'm bringing to the next camp and leaving Lund at home, who by the way didn't start for Palermo this weekend, and isn't having the greatest season with Palermo, and there's somebody I want to take a look at, I'm bringing in Nathaniel Brown right the fuck now if I'm Pochettino.
Fuck yeah.
I know he's only started 2 games for Frankfurt, but god damn, he looks like the real deal. Let's bring him in, take a look at him. That's what we need to do. We've seen enough Lund. Everybody knows what Lund is and who he is. And
again, yeah, to your point, we know exactly what he brings. And while servable-ish, he's, definitely Jedi light, light. But, yeah, let's take another look at somebody else.
I mean, we know who Wiley is, too. I mean, we don't know. Totally.
Yeah, Wiley just got back from injury. So definitely have to look at him in November.
Right. He needs to get healthy. So I'm taking a look at this kid now based on 2 games I just watched recently and that I thought, here's what I said watching the games. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This kid's good. That's what I was saying watching the games to myself because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, that was a really good pass, don't you think?
I do,
actually.
It was in my head though. I didn't say it out loud. I'm
not
fucking insane.
I know Bochum shit the bed that match, and they had a couple opportunities that could have been closer, but they still gave up 7 fucking goals in that game. So, oof.
Yeah,
not much to say there, but I mean, at this point, left back has always been question marks for us.
We need some depth.
You drop from Jedi. God forbid Jedi picks up a slight knock somewhere.
Yep.
Who we got covering for him? Well, I mean, I guess my first go-to left back coverage is Scally at this point, but he's at the right back.
Correct. So he's got to start out there and play out there. Yeah.
I guess that means our next back is Lund, unless we want to start gambling on Tolkien and so forth.
And by the way, Scally and Brown went head-to-head against each other in that Frankfurt-Gladbach game. And honestly, I thought in some cases Brown got the better. So I think
they would have been working against each other, right?
They were.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to bring him in and see what he might look like as depth. He's certainly a more like-for-like replacement for Jedi out left than Lund is. He's got the same athleticism in many ways. Not exactly. He's got a lot of IQ, soccer IQ to build up going forward. Yeah. But I think that he's great going forward. And I think that he is a more like-for-like for Jedi than Lund is. And we've seen enough Lund. Let's see some Nathaniel Brown. That's what I want to see in this next window. I want to see this kid called up.
So BMR says, for some reason, we rarely develop left-footed players. Well, let's take into consideration the small percentage of left-footed, left-handed people out there, period. I mean, don't get me wrong. You could be good left and right-handed, left-footed, right-handed. But most people who are going to be left-footed are also left-handed, for the most part, I'd imagine. I mean, I guess I have no scientific reasoning to believe that.
No, that's true.
I would think that would be the case.
It is.
So you got to think. Here's stateside. The small percentage of left-handed / left-footed people who are athletic, that don't pick up playing football, don't pick up playing basketball, baseball, hockey, gymnastics, any of the wide variety of other sports besides soccer. And then you look at the very small percentage of left-footed players who actually pick up soccer and whether or not they are going to be elite athletes. I mean, it's tough. It's got to be tough for a country like our own.
Well, listen,
you look
it's
at
not
other countries
just,
where it's like soccer's the number one sport, so everybody's flooding to that.
It's not true, Brett. Not anymore. Left backs at this point in the world are rare things.
Fair enough.
Look at Brazil. Look at so many national teams and how shitty they're fucking, or how less great their left back is compared to the rest of the team. So yeah, I mean, if he can go out there, Nathaniel Brown, and become like a pretty outstanding left back, he'll be desired by bigger teams because the best left backs just are. And somebody said that Jedi's not a top 10 left back in the world. I'd say even if it's not top 10, he's fucking close. He's fucking close.
It's funny you bring up the question of whether or not he's a top 10. And you're just like, I don't fucking care if he's a top 10 because he's close to that point.
Yes.
That brings us into our next topic. We're going to start talking about Henri Chase.
Can I bring up Wiley real quick?
You certainly could.
Wiley just came back from injury, so he's only fit enough right now to play about 15 to 20 minutes right now for his club. So let's give him some time. But I wouldn't mind seeing Wiley again if he's fully fit. Yeah.
So, and here's the other scenario.
He's injured.
There are players who are left-footed that play, obviously, for the U.S. men's national team in our depth and stuff like that don't play a back or a wing back. They're pushed up the field. They're playing wingers or they're playing, right winger, left winger. Doesn't matter at that point. I mean,
so Paredes.
Paredes can fill in as a left back.
Not really.
Why would you want to?
Not really. He's not a natural left back. He's a left wing back or a winger. He's not really a left back, and he hasn't really been asked that many times at Wolfsburg to play an authentic left back in a back four. It just is not happened very often. So, no, I'm not sure we can depend on him defensively, and he's a small guy, and he gets pushed around a lot. So I'm not sure that's what you want at left back in a back four. He's fine at wing.
Greg Turhaller says, name the players that are 7 to 10 between the 7 to 10 spot that are better than Jedi. I'll wait.
Yeah, I can't. I wasn't the one making the argument.
Yeah, no. I hear what you're saying. But
I was reading the argument and I was thinking, even if you believe that those 9 other players are better than Jedi, he's still, or 10 other players are better than Jedi. If you believe that, he's still right there in that top 10 pocket.
Yeah.
He's in the conversation.
So Derek, there's a conversation that you were tagged into that you chimed in and said, well, I can't see what he says because the guy blocked me.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a comment made by U.S. men's national team prospect.
Why did he block me?
Because you've said some very choice things about him in the past, Derek. I'm kind of surprised that he did. I'm honestly not surprised he blocked you, quite frankly.
I don't remember being that mean.
You said some choice things towards him,
On the show or in Twitter?
On the show. Probably a little bit of both. More on the show than on Twitter.
I don't think I was that mean on Twitter.
Well, maybe it wasn't true. Maybe he took offense to what you said on the show.
Yeah, okay.
That's possible. But, me being the the optimistic, nice guy of the duo.
The nice guy of the show.
He hasn't blocked me. So, here's what he said. So Edgar Moreno said, Arnie Chase is scheduled to be called up into the Japanese national team for the World Cup qualifiers, et cetera, in November. So he says he even called him Arnie. It's Henri.
Henri.
Everybody in our fan. He's never going to play for the U.S. if we keep calling him Arnie, guys.
It's Henri.
He's like, these motherfuckers want me to play for them?
They can't even say my name right.
I mean,
so what did Mr. Prospects who blocked me said? I didn't even know he blocked me.
Yeah, well, now you do.
I know it's hard to conceptualize with how poor our senior team pool is at CB, but I really don't see Chase as some big loss. I do.
Yeah.
I think Chase, if you watched them the last 2 games he's played for Stuttgart, did he make some mistakes? Sure. I watched the Stuttgart game this weekend against, I think it was Leverkusen, and he's a good player.
He explains, saying that he doesn't necessarily rate Henry as high as everybody else is, apparently, and in comparison to some of the other prospects we have through the pipelines.
Like who?
Well, I didn't ask that question.
Jalen Neal? Jalen Neal is still coming up. Give him time. He's not playing for Stuttgart last I checked, Jalen Neal.
So
Stuttgart, one of the best teams in the Bundesliga.
Yeah. He says that has more to do with his level than our lack of depth. Sure, depth isn't an issue there. Our lack of depth also doesn't make him a better than what he is. So he's saying like, hey, yeah, our depth sucks, but he's not going to be that big of an upgrade, is what he's basically saying.
I think he'd be an upgrade about 2 years from now.
So Marcus goes, I'm with you. He's solid, but I don't see a huge ceiling.
Okay. Who else we got that's solid?
Well,
like solid.
Fair. I said, I'll take a solid CB without a huge ceiling at this point.
How do we know he doesn't have a huge ceiling?
Well, I don't know. I'm specifying based off of what they're describing. And, I know Marcus does more of the youth evaluation things. I know Pete had some choice words or whatever.
I'm not buying any of this.
But I mean, it's,
as Jackie D says, an upgrade's a fucking upgrade.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm like, I'll take a solid center back at this point. He doesn't have to be a world beater. I just want to be able to say, I'm comfortable with my 2 center backs right now.
Last I looked, Stuttgart's one of the best fucking teams in the Bundesliga. And we're saying, oh, well, we don't want this young kid. What? Yes, we do. We need it. Our depth right now is CCV, Richards, who's injured, Trusty, McKenzie, like Ream, the old man. Come on, people. You can't just give up on. But anyhow, we might as well give up on him. He will be called up to Japan. He will be gone.
Well, because nobody can fucking call him by his name. I think we're the only ones to say Henri. Everybody calls him Arnie.
You got to write that dude and figure out why he blocked me. I think that's just rude.
But
that's rude.
I told him, I go, I don't think anybody's claiming he's going to be the savior of the back line. I think most are hoping for some stability in our back line. I'm not saying he'll bring the stability we need, simply saying what we have is not it.
It's not like I didn't call the guy a cunt or anything.
He's still on that. Marcus goes, I don't think he raises the levels of the CB group right now. I don't think he's better than Richards. He might be
injured.
He might be more defensively stable than McKenzie, but doesn't have the same ability as a distributor.
Could all be true. Derek, it was your lube comments, says Ping. He did make a comment about that, like, why are you always talking about lube?
Maybe that's it, yeah.
He said, that's gross. Why are you always talking about lube? It's like, dude, do you have a fucking sense of humor?
Yeah, that's right. That likely was the case. That's probably the moment, too.
Maybe so. No loss to me. I could give a shit, I guess, but let me.
Hey, you know what? I can follow this stuff, and then I can bring it up here. But I pointed out, I'm like, hey, Richards hasn't lit up on the international stage. McKenzie seems to be stepping up his game. Let's take those two. Then Ream is ancient. CCV has been horrendous for the Nats. Trusty hasn't been tested, so I don't have any real opinion on the international level. Miles, in my opinion, should be an afterthought. I mean, if we can get him on the team, even if he doesn't necessarily up the level of quality, he's bringing a stable level of quality in that sense.
No, I'd agree. I think it's silly to just wave him.
Super silly.
I mean, we're probably going to have to wave him goodbye, but
I guess somebody had mentioned that the Japanese fan base were like all over his dick from a poor performance in the U20 levels.
Yes.
So,
well,
I don't know, man.
Because he's black. He's Japanese,
Sure.
African. He's African Japanese. So
we get to give a cool nickname for that, like Japanese or something like that.
He's Jamaican,
yeah,
Japanese, American, yeah. I think he played for like 3 countries.
Interesting.
Anyhow, we're gonna lose him. But to people just blow that off and be like, no big deal, we're fine. It's not that big of an upgrade. It's an upgrade, but really not a big upgrade. Fuck it, I'll take whatever I can get. But it is what it is. It's over.
I'm not gonna try to pronounce this name or anything like that. But he says he watched some interviews with Henri in Japan, and the Japanese fans love him on the comments. So I guess it just depends on what you're looking at. But I'm sure there's some fans that love him and some fans that dislike him. You can look at all fan bases in that sense. But
right, and Bandit makes a good point. Just because you're black doesn't make you African. That's
there you go.
Kind of. I mean,
can't we all trace our ancestry?
Yeah, we can all trace our ancestry to Africa, but certainly people with African DNA can certainly track their lineage back to Africa before we can. So I don't know exactly what he's saying. But anyhow, I just want to thank all the 207 of you here now. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, and we will move on to the next topic.
Nope. I got one more player to bring up, and then we'll do the national or the Yanks Abroad here. Matthias.
Yeah, well, Matisse Albert.
I'd say Matthias, I guess. Matthias Albert.
No, there's no A.
He's American.
There's
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it has to be Matisse. You're right.
Yeah, it's Matisse Albert. Now,
Matisse would just be weird.
The question is whether it's Mathis Albert because he's American, or is it because he's got dual nat status and his parents actually named him Matisse Albert, and that his parents' last name is really Albert, which it could be.
His citizenship, according to transfer, is U.S. and Germany, but obviously with the name like that, and people have been mentioning that France and Germany are sniffing around.
Oh, I'm sure they might be sniff all they want.
They're monitoring. They're keeping tabs on.
Yes, exactly. They're spying on him at night. I have to say this. He had 2 good goals for Dortmund's U19s. Yes, he's a hot player. Who was his youth teams again? He got his youth squad before he got to Dortmund.
Bella Galaxy.
Yeah. So he's still going to be more likely to lean towards us. So I'm not worried about that. Is he promising? Yes, because he's only 15 and he's playing for the U19s. He's playing for the Dortmund U19s. This is where he scored those 2 goals at 15 years of age.
Who's the other U19 kid that's playing with him? We had another one. I thought that was there.
We might. No, he's not. But he's not in the youth. He's in the Dortmund 2 team. We have another guy in the Dortmund 2 team.
I thought I saw a highlight clip of him and another American guy combining, but I don't recall anymore now.
Could be Cole Campbell.
No.
So Cole Campbell's obviously playing with the big boys now at Dortmund. He's played 3 games in a row.
I don't think he played this last game, did he?
Yes, he did.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he came in extra time. So he's getting a run, which is good. Could be Tyler Miser. Yeah, could be. Yep. I did not see Tyler listed in this game, but because I think Tyler plays with the U17s. not the U19. So this was a U19 game that Matisse Albert scored 2 goals in, and he's 15 fucking years old. So there's that. All right. Something to very much consider and say, yes, that's really good news. Don't whip out the loop yet, but certainly have it warmed up, because if this continues over the next 2-3 years, and by the time he's 18, 17, he's on the Dortmund 2 or playing for the big boy team, we got something hot on our hands with Matisse Albert. Not yet though. So stow away the lube for now.
Yeah.
And then we do have another Dortmund 2 player. I can't remember who the hell it was, but he's not going to amount to a hill of beans. I'll get into it during the Yanks Abroad report, who that is and etc. Do we have anything else?
Nope, those are all the players I wanted to bring up.
All right.
Before we jump into the actual Yanks Abroad, I guess.
So Yanks Abroad, Henri Chase played for 90 minutes for Stuttgart in the fucking Bundesliga against Leverkusen, who probably were the highest rated team going into this season in Germany. And he played great. I mean, okay. Did he have some fumbles? Sure he did. Did he make some mistakes? Yes. He's a young kid. We're not going to get him, so don't get too excited. Apparently no one's excited. Not you guys, but the guys you talk to are like, it's not that big of an upgrade.
It's not that big of an upgrade. Don't worry about that.
I mean, he's young as fuck as a center back. He's going to get better. He's going to get better. And then he's going to be playing for Japan. And then the best center back, American center back, and the best American goalkeeper are both going to be playing for fucking Japan.
It's funny that we could sit here and say, well, the guy is starting for a top Bundesliga team at this point. And of course, some people will sit there and be like, well, he's only playing because of a number of injuries or whatever, X, Y, and Z. But I mean, you look at some of our other 20-year-old prospects, and where are they? Where are they playing?
Yeah.
MLS Next Pro, some in the MLS, I guess.
Right. I just want to address this. Fumar says racial erasure only exists to assuage white guilt. Well, there's a lot of people who could be implicated in that guilt, number one. And number two, I'm not sure I like the word race. I'll take ethnicity. I think that's a better word that describes how we all separate into branches. But, if you want to call it race, I suppose you can. But I just... Huh?
I said I don't have any guilt.
Well, I think your people were Irish and probably more than likely were indentured servants when they first came over here.
100%.
Yeah. So.
Well, my great grandfather that came over was kicked out of Ireland and Scotland because he was a pirate.
Pirate.
Yeah. So we had all that booty, and he ended up buying a name of a road in South Bend. It's Ireland Road. That's where my heritage went off to. All the gold, all the silver he stole went straight to that.
I mean, a lot of Irish indentured servitude over here, and really crazy when you look at the signs from the 1860s, 50s, 1880s. No blacks or Irish need apply for this job in the wall in the. No blacks are Irish, specifically Irish. I don't know how you can figure out exactly who's Irish.
Eaters.
But I guess their last names would be like McKennahy and.
Hey, they had no problem pulling them off the boats and sticking them right into the army. So.
Yeah, and then in World War II, interestingly enough, you'll probably know this. Everybody became white. Of course, even Hispanics served. Like in you watch Band of Brothers, full of Hispanic Americans fighting for the 101st and the airborne units at the time, the airborne divisions. And then they didn't become white later on for whatever reason. They weren't considered white all of a sudden. And that was really, anyway, I'm not going to get into it's a labor dispute thing, but not going to get into that now. It's the red here. It's off-putting. All right, Yanks Abroad. Adams. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that 20 minutes, but I thought Adams was spectacular. I think he's back. Wow. He was like the Energizer Bunny out there, man.
I need to schedule my time on the weekends better. Jackson's playing in 2 different indoor leagues, so my weekends are kind of squished. So it's leaf season. So I'm spending hours outside mulching and blowing leaves off to the curb. It's tons of fun.
I'm sure it is. Of course, Matt Turner didn't play. Either did Richards.
Injured Richards, yeah.
Horvath in the 18, Horvathing it. Josh Sargent didn't play, as we said, for injury. Brendan Aronson, 66 minutes and a goal for Leeds in a win. They're starting to really like Brendan Aronson at Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
Was
the Carabao Cup, right?
That was this weekend. I think it was just normal play. Championship play. Carabao Cup is usually in the midweek.
Oh, it's Carabao Cup. But okay, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter. Haji Wright, a goal and assist, 84 minutes in the win. That was against Aiden Morris, who didn't have such a great game. Didn't really have much impact on it, at least. 90 minutes in a loss. Dwayne Holmes, 23 for Preston North End in a loss. P. Fox, 60 minutes for Union Berlin in a loss. Nathaniel Brown, as we mentioned, Frankfurt, 90 minutes, a goal and a win for Frankfurt. Timmy Chandler actually got 20 minutes in that win. Matarazzo, hot seat right now at Hoffenheim with another loss. Maloney's injured. He had a left testicle pull. Not serious. Apparently, in the game before, somebody was falling down and they kind of grabbed up for support and they grabbed his left testicle, and as they were falling, they yanked it. And so his left testicle was bruised.
Happens.
Yep. But he'll be back soon, I hear. Marlon Fossey, 90 minutes in a win against his Standard Liège, against Zahir Al-Islam. All right, Zahir Al-Islam, and who went 62 minutes in that loss. So for St. Truden. And then we had McKennie going 20, Weah going 85 in a win for Juventus. Apparently, this was a scheduled blow for McKennie.
Respite.
A respite, yes. A respite.
That's better. That's better than saying the scheduled blow.
You say respite, huh?
I mean, I'm American, whatever. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
No, it's actually respite.
It's fine. You say potato.
But they do say respite in South Africa. Interesting. All right.
Now you know my heritage. I'm Irish and South African, apparently.
Yeah, this is awesome. All right. Wiley, extra time in that loss for Strasbourg. Cole Campbell got minutes in extra time for Dortmund, so that's 3 games in a row. Pulisic, 89 minutes in probably the worst game of the season. But you know what? The worst game of the season for AC Milan, or close to it. Just a boring fucking piece of shit game. I can't believe I wasted my time watching that game.
And that's also the thing, too. You're looking at like, oh, this is probably his worst game ever. But then again, if it's the entire team that's having their worst game ever, then can you really pinpoint one person's relatively poor performance?
He wasn't awful by any means. He wasn't.
Yeah.
No. It's just that we've been watching him kicking ass, and he didn't kick ass. So, and then Musa, 1 whole minute in extra time. I'm not rating that. He didn't play. Tillman, 90 minutes in a pretty lackluster, unimpressive performance where he got forced into playing a lot more defense than he's used to against Ajax in that loss. Pepe unbelievably only got 1 minute in extra time. I'm like, you guys need a goal. Play both De Jong and Pepe up top, you stupid fuck. Nope. Ledesma's in the 18th. Bello, 90 minutes in a tie. Still sit 9th out of 12 teams. Julian Green and Greuther Fürth are dropping like a rock since the beginning of the season, starting so well since Dietz went out for an injury. He did not play, but Green went 78 minutes in another loss for Greuther Fürth, and now they sit 13th out of 18 teams. Downs, we mentioned, 22 minutes for Kern in the win, coming off that, whatever, I think it was a right testicle injury. And then Novakovic, 45 for Bari in Serie B with a goal and an assist in a tie for Bari. And then Zendejas, 58 minutes in a win and an assist for America. Ventura Alvarado is who he is playing against, but
relatively early call off.
What do you mean?
58 minutes sub.
Yeah, it was, but they were absolutely slaughtering.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
So fight, if you will.
They got a bunch of guys they took off in that game. They were destroying Mazatlan. And Alvarado didn't play. He was in the 18 for Mazatlan, but didn't play. Joe Corona, 45 minutes and yanked off for Tijuana in their loss. He was not good. MLS, I just want to bring up that a new kid named Amika Anelli got a goal for Real Salt Lake in their loss. Young kid, somebody to keep an eye on. McKenzie, 90 minutes for Toulouse in their win. Again, another really good game. Good game for him.
The Houston-Seattle game. And I didn't watch this. I've only seen what's posted on,
I watched
on
it.
Twitters.
Yep.
But the spitting.
It was real.
I know. I'm just saying. It was like, I don't know. You spit in the direction of the ref.
That's stupid, dude.
It's stupid to do, I know, but he didn't
fucking
spit on
childish.
He didn't spit on the ref.
Doesn't matter. It's childish. You don't make that sort of demonstration towards the referee and spit near his heels. And yeah, it's you're gonna get another yellow. What a dumb off. Well, I mean, it's gonna happen anywhere you play. You don't spit anywhere near the ref in protest. You're gonna get another yellow card. Idiot. All right. Sabi, 22 for Le Havre in a win. Joe Scally, 90, we talked about earlier in that win. Solid. Just solid. Nothing special. Busio, 45. And I don't know why he's not starting. I really don't, because when he plays, he's great. So he needs to play for Venezia. Not sure why. I mean, he needs to start. Cardosa, I missed. But I know he played for Real. I know he started for Real Betis, but I never got back to the game. Paxton Aronson, 90 minutes and a goal and a win. Listen, Paxton Aronson is like the boss of that team. He is the boss of Utrecht.
But I'd say Tack mentioned he got a hockey assist as well or something like that.
Yes, but he's just the boss of the team, and everybody knows it. Everybody on that team knows that Paxton Aronson's the best player on that team. While on the other hand, Taylor Booth has now had two shitty, mediocre outings in a row. I'll be surprised if he starts next game. He got yanked at halftime. Something not going right with Taylor Booth. I don't know if he's not all the way back. Health-wise, I don't know what's wrong with him. But this is not the Taylor Booth I remember. Castaneda, another 9 for Paderborn in a tie against Johan Gomez's Braunschweiger. Johan Gomez went 79 minutes in that tie. Justin Butler in the 18 for Dortmund 2 team. It's the other Dortmund American. He did not play. Jonathan Klinsmann with his third game in a row for Cesena in Serie B. 90 minutes, another clean sheet. They are 4th in the Serie B. So, hey, man, at this point, I'm keeping an eye on Jonathan Klinsmann, honestly. Even though I will never forgive him for that Twitter about
Donovan thing.
Donovan.
I don't know, man. He was a kid at the time, man. Kids do stupid stuff all the time. So
I guess it's more revealing of Jurgen than it was of Jonathan, honestly.
It really was, yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan was a product of his father at that point.
Mm-hmm. There's no way you put out that tweet, that anti-Donovan tweet, after he gets cut, unless your dad's already talked shit about Donovan.
Every dinner time, that motherfucker took another month off.
Right. What a pussy. This is such a pussy, this Landon Donovan. He's such a pussy. He doesn't know when to step on toes.
When he comes back, I will not call him into the World Cup.
He's always going on vacations to Cambodia. He's no commitment to the team. And his wife thinks she's divorcing him because he's a piece of crap. He's a horrible person. And then he embarrassed me at Bayern Munich when I brought him to Bayern. He embarrassed me. Yeah.
So Anthony goes, I don't know this drama. Basically, when Donovan was left off the 2014 World Cup roster, Jonathan Klinsmann laughed on Twitter and said something along the lines of like, so you didn't make the roster, or something along those lines.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was at that moment, it was pretty clear that some shit was being talked behind closed doors, you know?
Absolutely. Yes. And no one's ever asked for clarification on it.
It wasn't a there were 22 other better guys out there. You know,
well, that's what eventually was said, but yes.
But yeah, the thing is that given what Jonathan said, it's clear that this is premeditated.
It's clear that it was premeditated. It was clear that Jurgen Klinsmann and Donovan had a riff. It was also clear that there were a number of players implicated in the article that came out before the Costa Rica game, the snowball game, where we beat Costa Rica, where Bocanegra was stripped of his captaincy and stripped of his starting spot because he was suspected of being a leaker in Brian Strauss's article about Klinsmann losing the locker room. And it was also very much suspected that Donovan was one of the sources of those quotes as well. That Jurgen never forgave him for, even though he probably never was able to confirm who Brian Strauss talked about. I'm sure there were rumors behind the scene about who Brian probably talked to get those quotes from the players. There were 4 players that made those quotes.
So Fumar says U.S. men's national team got out of the group of death without Landon, so this drama's for nothing. No, the drama's still for something there.
Yes, it is, because you get out of the group, you play Belgium, and Wando roofs it. So.
Not even that. Congratulations to Klinsmann for still getting out of the group of death.
Sure.
That's not the point.
Absolutely.
He royally fucked over a U.S. men's national team legend. Now, mind you, the Donovan pundit that we know, all right, whatever. We can scribble.
Yeah, fuck Donovan.
Sucks donkey balls.
Yes, he's horrible.
But as a player and as the men's national team was concerned, that was a glaring hole. There were at least a handful of players that I'm looking at going, I would have brought Donovan over. Those guys. I'm not even talking about, because here's the problem. You can only be talking about a certain number of players on that roster that Donovan could take over for. It's not like you can say, like, well, this guy plays left back, but he's not that good, so let's get rid of him and bring in Donovan. You can't do that.
Hold on. Julian Green scored, so his replacement did well. He did not get replaced by Julian Green. He got replaced by either one of 2 players, Chris Wondolowski or Brad Davis. Those were the 2 players that replaced Donovan.
See, Julian Green was guaranteed a spot. That's why
he
was
move
over. Yeah, that was never in question.
And don't tell me Brad Davis and Wondolowski, even at that point, were nowhere near better players than Landon Donovan.
No,
not even close. Not even close.
And the sad thing is, Wando could have established himself in U.S. men's national team lore if only he put away a goal that would have been his bread and butter any other day of the week.
Yeah, it's weird watching him miss it.
So strange to miss that, but
yep, indeed. And then Toljan went 90 minutes for Sassuolo in their win. They're currently sit second in Serie B, but who cares about Toljan? Obviously, nobody at U.S. Soccer. Lund went 25 for Palermo in their loss. They're now 8th in Serie B. Then we had CCV going 64 in a goal, trusty 90 for Celtic against another poor, horrible Scottish team. They creamed. Frankie Amaya, 30 minutes, got an assist for Toluca in their tie. Kate Cowell went 71 for Chivas in a tie.
Real quick, just to jump back to the whole Celtic victory. Celtic, they play in the Champions League. So I think Sargent should leave Norwich and go to Celtic.
Oh God, don't make me spit out my drink. All right.
Gotta get those European minutes in there, Derek.
Absolutely not. Vasquez, 15 in a win for Monterrey. Fernando Arce in the 18 for Necaxa. They better put his ass back on, because every time Arce doesn't play, they lose. Keek Pierre. Remember him?
Yes.
Everybody's all over his nutsack. Keek Pierre. We got to get Keek Pierre.
But then he was injured for like 2 years.
Well, guess where he plays now?
MLS.
He plays for Excelsior in the 2nd division.
Excelsior.
In Holland.
Well, I mean, you go injured for 2 years. I mean, you're gonna take a drop.
3 years. He went injured for 3 years.
3 years. I'm sorry.
Just,
I never shot that fucker.
just brief moments of health. Brief.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, Keith Perry went 76 for Excelsior and a goal and a win. Conrad, 30 minutes for Lausanne in a win. So there you go. We got Jedi we've already talked about. Today went 90 and got that assist,
Got a nice assist
for the
Very
win.
End. Yeah.
Rick Van Hees went 90 for Utrecht 2, and Jalen Hawkins 81 and a goal for Emmen down. Oh, now in MLS, Christian rolled on the playoffs, scored a goal, and then scored an own goal, discounting his goal for
that sounds right.
Seattle.
I mean, that it only makes sense that if Roldan was still playing with the USMNT national team, and he went like 30 games without a goal,
yeah,
that he would be in a game where he would score a goal and get an own goal, so that his goals contributed to the USMNT national team would still be at 0.
Yeah. So just to clear up this with Fumar, we love you, but Landon should have taken a year off. He didn't take a year off. He didn't. In fact, he played 2 straight seasons for LA Galaxy to Everton, LA Galaxy to Everton on loan. 2 straight seasons with no break whatsoever. So he did take a break. It was not a year, not even close. And although Klinsmann didn't appreciate it, he was also going through a big divorce at the time. He had, to his own admission, a mental breakdown. He was depressed, and he just needed a break. And I think the way that would be looked at now would be differently than it was looked at then. Now, that's looked at as weak. Or then it was looked at as weak. Now it'd be look like this guy needs a fucking break, dude. He's played 2 seasons nonstop soccer, no breaks. And he did that because he's going through the divorce. And yes, he didn't contribute to some of the away games because of that break. But still, regardless, still one of the best players on the team. Was great in the Gold Cup right before that. And I think it is what it is. But I don't think that Landon Donovan was ever a diva. I think that's not a fair way to depict that. Somebody said that, diva attitude. It was not diva. The dude was seriously going through a mental breakdown. If you've ever seen the older discussions with him about him going through the divorce, him playing full-time soccer for 2 years straight with no break, barely any break, going straight from LA Galaxy end of the season to go playing for Everton for 2 seasons in a row. Yes, it was trying on him. It tried every ember of his soul. Now, as a pundit, he can go fuck himself. He's a horrible pundit.
Horrible.
He's
I can only imagine his podcast is going to be just as bad.
Oh my God, him and Howard, that's going to be really bad.
Boring. I mean, there may be some interesting stories in there.
We got to listen to it, though.
We're going to have to, but I mean,
because we want to chunk some stuff out of that, right?
Something like that. So, obviously that's the end of the soccer talk, guys. Closing statements here. You know how, Mickey Rourke was known for his really bad plastic surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's gotten some newer plastic surgeries to fix his fucked up plastic surgeries.
Could be.
He's not looking nearly as janked as he used to. And you know what? More props to him. I mean, he still looks fake as fuck.
He still looks like
aging well, but
he still looks like a WWE wrestler.
Yeah. What was you saying? It's funny. I just happened to scroll across this. I'm like, wow. I mean, I feel like he's corrected some of that poor craftsmanship. You know?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're talking about here, but apparently he was visited by the FBI for making threats against Trump. So I don't think that's something we want to highlight on this show.
Oh, no. I have no idea what he's talking about here. And quite frankly, just says it's the divided states of America. But nothing about this interview right here says anything about what they're actually talking about.
He still looks weird. I'm going to agree with
I don't think he doesn't look weird, because obviously any form of plastic surgery is going to make you look almost alienish instead of just aging gracefully. I always thought that getting plastic surgery is so strange.
What was the famous movie he was in with the strawberries and the refrigerator and what's her face, the hot chick, and he was feeding her different foods out of the fridge. This highly sexual movie. Highly sexual movie with Mickey Rourke. Nobody knows this.
Nope.
Wild Orchid. No, that was a later one. Angel Heart. Is that it? Can we look this up, Brett? No, Lisa Bonet was later. I think that was Angel Heart. No.
All right, so Mickey Rourke. All right.
9.5 weeks.
There we go.
Tom, you rock, Tom.
I thought you literally saw it as they pulled it up then.
No, Tom got it first.
Actually, John had it first.
Did he?
Yep.
Great job, guys.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
When I was dating girls in the 90s, that was a must-to go-to movie. It was dirty and romantic, right? So you got the girl all wound up on the dirty and the romantic at the same time, because that's what you really wanted.
Yeah, I came later in the era of Mickey Rourke.
You came
and I was
later.
much more I knew him from the wrestler Iron Man and Sin City that era.
Now, 9.5 weeks was a massive hit in the 80s. Massive. And that was with you gotta look this up too. God damn it.
Seriously though, he was much more fucked up in his plastic surgery, and he's right there.
Yeah, they fixed it.
Yeah.
But look at him originally. Look at him originally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, he's he totally. So I was actually talking to Jackson about being the front runners of a new industry of cosmetics, whether it's getting hair, your hair fixed or whatever. You never want to be the first, couple hundred of people going through that process. Plastic surgery is the same way. You don't want to be the first person under the knife, because it's like, well, let's try this right here. Oh, totally fucked your face up. You want some other poor saps who maybe got burned in a fire somewhere. Go through it first, and then once they're experienced, then you go through it. I still think after you get plastic surgery, you still kind of look like an alien, though.
Yeah, I agree. Kim Basinger was in 9.5 weeks, and by the way, at that time, Kim Basinger was one of the hottest chicks on the planet. She was just super.
Well, okay, I was gonna say she's not shabby at her age because she was in the other guys, but then there's some really
Yeah, let's not look at the really old ones. Let's find a young one. Lisa Bonet is
there you are, right here. Look at it. Check her out.
No, that's not great, dude.
She looks more like Mickey Rourke than Mickey Rourke does now.
Well, can we find a good one? There we go.
It's from the 80s. It's got to be from the 80s.
Yeah. Anyhow, she was really hot, and she was in that movie. 9.5 weeks.
Oh,
still
Batman. That's right. She's from the Batman.
Yeah, still a good movie. 9.5 weeks to rent. Yeah, if people do that thing, that kind of thing, and take your stepsister out and onto the couch and watch that together. If you're in love and all that. I mean, it'll be hot. You guys will both be hot underneath the collar after that one. So, all right. I think that's going to do it for tonight, Brett. I'm almost out of voice. We all have to go vote tomorrow if you haven't voted already. So good luck with that. Let's just keep it peaceful out there. Whatever happens, let's keep it peaceful. Let's let's get on with life. Okay, let's get through this together. All right. We love you. We will see you on Thursday. We might do a call-in show on Thursday.
Given the way topics go, we might have to. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably just do call-in on Thursday because at this point, what is there to talk about? I don't know. So we're supposed
to hear the camp roster coming out this week. Sometime.
Okay, so we'll have that.
But still, aside from that,
right,
we may still do the call-in and then do the roster reveal afterwards.
I still want to thank all 230 people who came out on a Monday here to hang out with us during Monday Night Football, and I appreciate that. We love you all. We love your comments. We love just interacting. It's been fabulous. Anyhow, make sure you say hi to your stepsister for us. Give her a kiss on the cheek, and we'll be back on Thursday. Hopefully my voice will be back. Jesus Christ, I'm sounding horrible. All right, good night, all.
That hurt.
I'm really proud of the way that the guys just put in the shit.
Hey, what's it like in Bazaar now? Is it warm? Yeah. It's always hot, huh? Yeah.
You're really hot.